You're listening to My Grito Podcast Network, celebrating the culture of Chicanos and Latinos one story and voice at a time. Listen to more My Grito Podcast Network shows over at mygrito.net. Connect on social, on Instagram and Facebook at My Grito, the My Grito Podcast Network.
3, 2, 1. Let's do this before this whole studio blows up. What's up, Javier?
What's up, Gil, man? How's it going?
How's it going, dude?
Nice to meet you.
Right? We've been talking about, just over a couple of days?
Yep.
And I can't believe you're in the studio already.
Yeah, no, thank you for the invite, man. It was, it's my pleasure to be here.
And by the way, shout out to Sergio from Dude from LA podcast to connect us to do this thing. So thanks, pal.
Yeah, shout out to Sergio, man.
Cheers. So yeah, man, like we were talking before we hit the record button, I've watched your McDonald's video like 20 times today. So if you see like a jump in your YouTube views for today, yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay. Yeah,
yeah, dude. And you're wearing an In-N-Out hat today. For those of you that are listening to us on Spotify.
Yeah, we got to represent, because my whole thing is about California history. So, In-N-Out's a huge part of California history and fast food history. So I had to represent, In-N-Out. Do
you have a video on In-N-Out? I didn't see one.
No, not yet. I've been out to the original location or where the original location was. And I've recorded some stuff there, but I haven't put out the video yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the Baldwin Park location,
Park.
Right?
Yep.
Right there off of Francisquito in the 10?
Right off the freeway. Yep, exactly, man. You know your stuff.
Well, I know food. I know In-N-Out and In-N-Out location. So, dude. So, what time did you go to that McDonald's in Downey?
That was probably.
Was it early?
It was probably like around 5:30, maybe.
What day?
I can tell you the exact date. It was September 1st or 2nd. So it was midweek, so maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday. Definitely midweek. It wasn't on a weekend.
Okay, yeah, because it didn't look too busy.
No, not at all. There was like one person standing in line, and then me.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the last time I went there, I think I went on like a Sunday or Saturday, and it was pretty packed. And I think they had like one register going, and the guy at the register was like, he looked brand new. Yeah. You can tell like when somebody's like brand new because they have like another worker like over their shoulders showing them how to do the orders. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, that dude must have been stressed.
He looked stressed. And they were like so busy. I think they had like 10 people waiting for orders to come out. And then they had like their line was just like at least 15 people deep. Yeah, the kitchen looked like they're having some trouble.
That's really not what the McDonald brothers envisioned.
No, I don't think that was probably the exact opposite. Yeah. And I guess there was some lady, I think she ordered like something stupid, like 15 apple pies. Right. And you made like there's a distinction between the apple pies made at the regular locations versus this one, right?
Yeah. So back in, I think it was, and this is one thing about me being a history person. I'm terrible with dates. like the thing is like everyone thinks that history is like the study of memorizing dates.
Of dates, right?
It's not. It's you're making an argument and then you have evidence to back it up, kind of thing. So I'm very bad with that. But I think it might have been 2002 when they switched over to having them be baked. So that's the only McDonald's anywhere that you can still get them deep fried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll throw them in the fryer and fry them up for you, and they come out nice and like the crust is very bubbly, very crispy because they deep fry them.
I should have tried one. I should have tried one before leaving.
Man. You had
yeah.
to. Yeah.
I should have. I got to go back. But anyways, she ordered like something stupid, and like I was waiting in line just to get some napkins, and she was like, "Excuse me, like can I go before you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was just waiting to ask for napkins. So she goes there, and she was like, "I want to talk to your manager." And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Okay, I'm not leaving yet. I got to see how this ends up." Right. So there was some guy in the back coming towards her, and she was like, yeah, I want to talk to you in the blue shirt because I talked to the other lady and she was very rude to me. And she was like, I can see her getting in the back and working on her 20. It was like a stupid amount of apple pies. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just dumb, right? And the guy was explaining to her that they were getting the fryer ready for that amount because they had to like throw on like a whole new fryer just to get her order out. Long story short, she starts blowing up on this guy that had no, like, he had no idea like what was going on, why she was blowing up. Like, I get it. She was waiting for her order, and like she made the point where she was saying that, well, if it was going to take too long, then I probably wouldn't have ordered, right? Well, obviously I don't get it because like you went there for your apple pies. So if you're going to wait, then you're going to wait. Like, if you want your product, then you're going to wait. But, yeah, this manager was like heated. You can tell she came out and she was like, I want your name. I want your full name. I want you to write it down. And the manager was like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. My name is Evelyn Garcia. That's fine. Go ahead. So Evelyn, I'm in your corner at this point because that lady was a bitch. She was horrible. She was a horrible person to yell at her.
I mean, I wasn't there either, but I'll back up Evelyn too.
Yeah. Right. And we got to get Evelyn on the show. But I mean, just to have that, to be a manager at like that location, because I'm pretty sure that they get a lot of buzz. They get a lot of tourists. There was even a guy when I went. There was a guy taking pictures. He was like with a nice looking camera. He was just taking pictures of like the food. Like, he ordered like a Big Mac meal. He was taking pictures of the food and everything. And then there was like a homeless guy dancing on top of the table. Yeah, it was wild, dude. Like, I was so overstimulated with that McDonald's visit, but it was probably the best and worst experience I've ever had at that restaurant.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tourist attraction. Like, the people go there specifically for that. People that are like fast food historians or into fast food history, people that are into like retro stuff, because it's one of those it's iconic. It's an iconic building. Right. But yeah, man, I mean, food service is one of those things where I have so much respect for people that work in food service, because you have to deal with like human beings at their worst. Right. I used to be an EMT, so you deal with people at their worst. So like, super patient. So yeah, my hat's off to food service people, because yeah, people ordering food, like you said, like you ordered 15 apple pies. You know they're deep fried. Like, like, come on, they fry those to order. They can't. It's not like they fry them and then just leave them there. You know what I mean? Or if you wanted them at quickly, go to a different McDonald's where they bake them, and then even then you're probably gonna wait 20 minutes for them to bake them if they don't have them on hand. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And obviously she went to that location for that type of dessert, so she knows what I mean. Dude, come on. Like, we're all humans. I
mean, you got to think about it too. Like, what are they going to do? Throw it in the fry oil, like to deep fry them? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be like a separate. They probably have a separate.
Which they did.
For that.
They did.
Pies. Yeah. So it's like, like, I mean, they could have thrown them. You wanted them salty, like, and taste like potatoes. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were still good. Yeah. But yeah, you have to have a little more.
That sounds good, actually.
That does sound good.
I would try that. McDonald's apple pies in the fry oil.
Talking about that stuff, man. I was thinking, I'm like, man, next time I go, I need to get if the ice cream machine's working, get a sundae and then throw the vanilla ice cream on top of the fried apple pie. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. Or dunk it in it. I'm pretty sure that.
There we go. Yeah. Do you ever eat In-N-Out French fries with their shake?
Oh yeah, like dipping them. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you have to get them well done. Like for that, because I mean, I love In-N-Out, but the fries are not the best.
Why is this an argument? Why is it always an argument with that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
you don't think they're the best?
I don't think, and I'm a In-N-Out stan. Like I'll like I'm say if you put it head to head versus any other like franchise, well, not franchise because it's family owned, but any other like big sort of fast food place like that. You're going to get consistency. You go to the one in Bakersfield, you go here, you go Texas, the food's going to be really good.
Absolutely.
But the fries just by themselves, they're good. They're not the best, you know. And that's the one thing that I think the consistency is kind of weird, because sometimes if you don't order them special, you just order them regular. Sometimes they're a little too soft. Sometimes they're okay. If you order them well done, then you know you're gonna get them, you know, pretty sturdy. I usually get them animal style. Like if I go in and out, my go-to is like double animal style, fries animal style, and a Neapolitan shake. Like that's my go-to,
right?
You know. So, but yeah, I do the same thing at Wendy's. I'll get the fries and dunk them in the Frosty. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Super delicious.
Yeah,
super delicious. But since we're on the McDonald's thing, have you ever visited the McDonald's? It's not an actual kitchen or location in San Bernardino.
Yes.
Have you?
Yep. It's the unofficial McDonald's museum and Juan Pollo headquarters. Yeah,
I seen that. Let's see if we can pull up a picture of it. Yeah, that was like one of the last things that I seen, like walking out from that museum, and a big old sign, like it's something like property owned by the Juan Pollo Corporation or something like that. What would we Google? Search for that.
Just Google just Google Juan Pollo headquarters, and it should pop up.
Is it really a headquarters? I didn't see that.
So interesting story. So the guy that founded Juan Pollo.
Go to images. Yeah.
Or you could even just put like San Bernardino Museum, McDonald's.
Oh, there we go. There's a picture of it.
There it is. Yeah.
Where the McDonald's picture is right there.
Yeah. So that's actually so the whole story is I forget the guy's first name, but I think his last name is Akura, like the guy that founded Juan Pollo. So he, if I remember correctly, he either worked at a Del Taco or a Taco Bell. And then they opened up a Pollo Loco nearby, and he went to it and he was like, "Oh, this is great." And so he kind of wanted to open up a Pollo Loco style kind of restaurant. And he had a family relative out here in the Inland Empire that was like, "Oh, you know, there's a spot over here that's available if you want to do that." And one of the guys that he worked with told him, he's like, "Yeah, this kitchen's not big enough for a grill like Pollo Loco, so you know you need to do a thing like on a rotisserie, kind of like that wheel that they have at Juan Pollo. So you could definitely make that work." So that's how the Juan Pollo got its start. And you know, obviously it's an empire here in the Inland Empire, and
right.
San Bernardino, Riverside counties, it's huge. And so he had this like special fondness for like Ray Kroc and like McDonald's, and so he kind of felt like it was like his sort of like destiny or something to like purchase that location of that where the original McDonald's was. And so that's why he bought the property, and then that's why the headquarters of Juan Pollo is. So it's like the museum's in the front. There's like a section that's dedicated to Juan Pollo inside the unofficial McDonald's museum, but like the buildings that are behind it and next to it belong to Juan Pollo.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the headquarters for Juan Pollo.
Yeah, a friend of mine had he had like an art show across the street. There's like an arcade, and then there was a parking lot. So he had his pop up out there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, come over. The first 50% people that go visit the McDonald's inside gets like a free pin, like a free like vintage looking pin." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try to get there early." I didn't eat for the fact that I thought that place was an actual McDonald's. So I get there all early, and I'm like looking front counter. I'm like, "Dude, where's the people at?" And I asked him like, "Do you guys serve food here?" He's like, "Oh no, it's just a museum. It's free." So I was like, "All right, where's my pin? I'll check it out." But yeah, dude, they had so many iconic things just over the. How many years now has this thing been open?
So, you talking about this museum?
Or
McDonald's.
McDonald's in general.
So, there's like, so the whole McDonald's thing is like, officially like McDonald's was founded in 1940 in San Bernardino. Like that's when the McDonald's brothers founded
at this place, right?
At that location, yeah. Because there's some stories that, so the McDonald's brothers came to California from New Hampshire, like in the early 30s. They had a family member that worked in the Hollywood Police Department. He got him a job in the movie studios. They worked like moving sets and lights and that kind of stuff. They always had these like aspirations of becoming millionaires before they were 50. And working at the studio, they're like, "Yeah, man, there's no way we're going to become millionaires. We got to find something else to do." So they opened up, they took over a lease of a theater in Glendora. They renamed it the Beacon, And then that's kind of they started trying to do like get into business, right? That wasn't that successful. They had a little snack bar, but it wasn't really like generating the kind of money. It was like right in the midst of the Great Depression. So the only place that they saw that was making money was this like root beer like stand that this guy Wiley owned. So like, man, we got to get into the food business. So they opened up a food stand called the Wigwam that was in Arcadia. And they sold like orange juice and hot dogs. And in 1937, the same year, their dad with them opened up a place in Monrovia called the Airdrome. It was right next to the Monrovia airport. So they had the Wigwam in Arcadia. They had the Airdrome in Monrovia at the airport. And then right across from the Airdrome, they opened up a juice stand. It was called the Big Orange. It was like in the shape of an orange because they were trying to get traffic on both sides of the highway. Right. So they were there for a few years. And then they were like, you know what, like, Route 66 just opened. You know, it's like, it was brand new. So they were like, you know what, San Bernardino, up and coming working class city, take advantage of Route 66 because the airport, you know, they had people there when people would go watch the planes land and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of like traffic there. So they actually cut the building in half and they moved it to San Bernardino. So that was in 1940. So all the times that when they were in the other places, they never called it like McDonald's. It was never called like McDonald's Orange Stand or McDonald's Airdrome or McDonald's whatever. Right. So when they moved to San Bernardino in 1940, that's when they called it McDonald's Barbecue. And so that's why it's considered the official, even though you can say, oh yeah, they can trace their origins to like Monrovia because they had other food stands there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The first place where they called the restaurant McDonald's, and it was sort of like the early incarnation of McDonald's, was that McDonald's Barbecue in 1940. And they opened up and they were pretty successful. It was like a typical drive-in. Like they actually used the old uniforms from the theater that they had as ones for
Is it those like white ones with like the red trim kind of looking, or was there different ones?
No, yeah, exactly. Just like the one like the usherettes would wear at the theater, so like, you know, ruffles and like the little red vest, that kind of stuff. That's what the car hops. That's what that's what they would wear. And they were very successful.
So originally they had car hops?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was like just like you ever been to like a Bob's Big Boy or like a Sonic's, you know, like you like pull up and then somebody, I mean, now you order at the box, but back then somebody would come out, take your order, go back into the kitchen, drop your order off, bring your food out, that kind of thing. So it was a drive-in. They had like 25 items on the menu and they were successful. But then after a while they were like, you know what, like, we're attracting a bunch of teenagers. They're just flirting with the car hops. The car hops are flirting with the fry cooks. Yeah. You know, it's people spending way too much time here. You know, like, we got to like revamp because, you know, we have all this stuff on the menu. So they actually did something very controversial. People thought they were crazy. Like they closed up shop after it, so they opened up in was it 1940? It was 1947 or 48. I can't remember. Like, again, I'm really bad with dates. Let me check my phone real quick because I think I have the dates on here. But yeah, I think it was 1947 or 1948. 1948. They closed up shop. And they were like, we're going to retool the menu. We're going to retool the kitchen. And so they decided that they were going to get rid of the car hops because that was going to cut down on, you know, staff and then also cut down on, you know, the people just hanging out, you know, for a long period of time. They cut out the dishwashers because you used to have to like give people like plates and silverware. So they cut down their menu from 25 items to like the top 9. So it was like hamburgers, cheeseburgers, potato chips, shakes, apple pie, and like, you know, soft drinks. Got rid of the car hops. And then they closed for a few months and they reopened as McDonald's hamburger stand. And the first few months people were like, what is this? You know, people would pull up and they'd like honk, like, where's the car hop? You know, it's like, oh no, you got to get up and walk to the window. And people were like, yeah, that's weird. And they thought they were going to fail. They thought they messed up. They're like, man, we messed up. We were very successful with the drive-in and now nobody, you know, but, after a while people liked it because like, especially like people that had like a really short time for lunch, you could just show up and you order the burgers and, you know, it was, I think it would say it was like 1 minute from order till the time you had your order ready because they cut down the menu. They developed what they call the speedy service system. So, you know, they had a patent, they got a patent on a dispenser for like mustard and ketchup. So, you know, every single burger had the same amount of mustard and ketchup. So it was all for them. It was speediness and consistency. And after that, it took off and it was a big hit. And that's sort of like the incarnation of like McDonald's, you know, like that we've known for a long time. That was started by the McDonald's brothers.
So as you're talking about all that, like one thing that's coming to my mind is Founder. Mm-hmm. and it's a movie about pretty much that story, right? And Ray Kroc. How accurate is that movie compared to the research that you did?
I mean, I've seen a couple like documentaries and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's Hollywood, takes some liberties with it.
Absolutely.
But as far as like the story between them,
It's pretty spot on.
It's pretty spot on. Yeah. Cause the whole thing is that they started to notice people were coming around and sort of, wanting to get into what they were doing there and trying to copy them. So they decided to start trying to franchise. They hired this guy, I think his last name was Tanner. And he actually sold something like 25 franchises, but only a handful of them got built. I think only like 8 of them or 7 of them got built. And then the guy had a heart attack in 1954 or 53. And so he had to retire. And then 54 is when Ray Kroc, he was the milkshake maker, salesman. He was, he went down, visited him, and he was like, this is the most incredible thing he had ever seen. He's like, I want in on this kind of thing. And he convinced them to, bring him on as their franchise agent to sell franchises. So, the first franchise that he opened was his McDonald's, which was the one in Des Plaines, Illinois, which was technically the 9th McDonald's that was open, but it was the first one that he opened. So later on, that's why they call that McDonald's #1, because that was the one that was opened by Ray Kroc. And that's the foundation of like the McDonald's Corporation. But there was already 8 McDonald's before that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So there's there's several locations that are trying to claim that they're the #1 McDonald's.
Yeah. The official story for a long time, especially when Ray Kroc was alive, was that McDonald's #1 is the one in Illinois, because that's the one that he opened. That one actually got torn down sometime like in the 80s, I think, or 90s, and then they rebuilt it to look like what it looked like when it first opened. But the first McDonald's was the one in San Bernardino. That one, after he pushed the brothers out in 1961, he actually bought them out for $2.7 million. And it just tells you how like pragmatic the brothers were. Because remember I told you they wanted to be millionaires, right? Yeah. So they chose $2.7 million because that was the amount that they could get $1 million each with the taxes paid. So the $700,000 paid the taxes on the $2 million. Well, they
got what they
but
towards the end.
Yep. And then one of the things that it was in the founder that I don't remember seeing anything in my research was that there was a handshake agreement that they would get like a certain percentage. I think it was like 0.5% of all future sales or something.
Yeah.
That's what's in the founder. I don't remember ever like coming across that in like when I was reading. I mean, it's possible that was in there, but I don't remember seeing something where, because I saw a couple of interviews with Richard McDonald, and I don't remember him ever saying that there had been a handshake deal or whatever. But I mean, it's possible, but who knows? Because the only people that would know that is them and Ray Kroc.
It was for dramatic effect, people.
Probably.
Right? Damn, dude. So other than like McDonald's research that you do, you did one on the Downey Insane Asylum. I watched that video today, but I'm the type of person that I need to watch a video like 20 times just to grasp the first 5 minutes of the content. But that thing looks pretty scary, dude. And I had some friends that were telling me about that, and they said that they were able to at least drive, like on the campus and stuff, and like they were fine. And also I had other friends that actually they got caught by the police while they're on campus, and the police they like not handcuffed them, but they put like the zip ties on like all 4 of their friends, and they were like questioning them like why they were there and stuff. It was just super eerie why they wouldn't want them to go over there. The Mind Buzz is powered by Mind Buzz Media. Mind Buzz Media is an on-site video and audio podcast production company. Have you ever thought about starting your own video and audio podcast? Or do you have an existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Mind Buzz Media brings a professional podcast studio to you. Visit mindbuzz.org for more.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that's kind of a weird thing that I never understood, like what happened with it. Because the whole thing is that, like, so back in the early 1900s, they had this concept called poor farms. So they would basically try to help people out that were usually it was people that were disabled or people that were like too elderly to work.
Okay, I didn't get that part. Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm glad I have you on, so I can just ask you like the questions that I was running through my mind. I was like, why is it called? Maybe you did say this in your video, but I just missed it. Because I on the title it says poor farms, right? On piece of the title. Okay, so that's why.
Yeah, so the whole thing was like I grew up in Huntington Park, which is like southeast LA. So anybody that grew up in that area, like Huntington Park, Southgate, Downey, Bell Gardens, like everybody knows about the quote unquote insane asylum. Like you grew up hearing that story. Oh yeah, there's an insane asylum, but nobody really knew the history. So that's why I was like, oh, let me go look this up, what it is. So so in the early 1900s, they had this concept of like poor farms where they would take people that couldn't take care of themselves, and they would have them live on these farms, and they would work the farm, and the stuff that they made in the farm would feed them and would also like generate money for the farms. And they lived there, they took care of them there. So that's how they got started as a poor farm. And then in like, I think it was right in the 1920s, there was a lot of like buzz around this place because people would come all from all over, other like charitable organizations, because it had grown from like, I think it was like 100 acres initially to like, it had doubled in size by a few years. And so they were very impressed with the work that they were doing there. And they had a couple hundred, they call them inmates initially. They had a couple hundred inmates that were there.
So they called, wait, hold on. Sorry to cut you off. So they called them inmates, and they were pretty much just poor people of low income in the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or people that couldn't.
That's weird. Did you ever dissect why they would call them inmates?
I don't know why.
Or was that inmates concept not like they were considered inmates versus what we now think of inmates and people in prison? Like that change.
Well, so yeah, I don't know why they would call them inmates. That was one of the weird things, because I don't know if I would assume that you could probably leave on your own free will. That's me assuming that, but right. I don't know. But there was a lot of stories of like abuse, like people like being abused by the people that were there to take care of them. There was actually a couple inmates that killed themselves because of that, because it's very bad. So they actually opened an investigation, and they said we need to make some reforms to this. So the next guy that took over, that was one of his things to change, was like, we're not calling these people inmates anymore. They're patients, because right. We're here to take care of them. So he changed the name of the place from the poor farm to, and people got on me about this pronunciation because I said, oh, it's Hondo, for real Hondo. And they're like, oh, it's Spanish, it's supposed to be Hondo. I'm like, dude, your people, yeah, like places have Spanish names, but people, you're talking in English. I'm not gonna suddenly like try to be like super proper and be like, oh yeah, so I went to Rio Hondo. It's like, no, it's like it's Rio Hondo. That's how people pronounced it. They were probably people that were not Spanish speaking. They're like, oh yeah, it's Rio Hondo. Whatever. Yeah. So he named it Hondo after the Rio Hondo that flowed through the place, and called them patients. He started making.
I didn't know that before you said that in the video. That I thought it was just the name. Again, I'm dumb when it comes to certain things. So, like, I didn't like when I heard that, I was like, Rio Hondo, okay, like the college, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. like the college, but
which I went to, by the way, too. So that's why that's where I got the Rio Hondo pronunciation. That's how everybody said it over there. So,
right, and I'm saying that now. Like, I've lived there more than half of my life, and that's how we pronounce it over there.
Yeah, so everybody's wrong except us.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we
go. So he made a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. They opened up like an auditorium. They did have so the whole thing is that they did open up like 2 psychopathic wards, but it was never like strictly like psychiatric hospital. Like initially it was for like people that were like poor or couldn't take care of themselves. Eventually they started bringing in people that had other ailments like alcoholism or asthma or things like that. And then when this second guy came on, that's when they opened up 2 psychopathic wards, and they did have a ward for men and a ward for women. And so he made all these improvements, and the farm was like flourishing. They had like award-winning dairy cows and horses and all this kind of stuff. Then the depression hit. They got an influx of people because there was more people that were down and out.
Right.
So I think at that point it was like something like 25 or 2,700 inmates or patients. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they actually had to open up a tent city in order to like take care of all these people, and that was like for a couple of years that they had the tent city. And then when World War II came around, actually it was like those two things that kind of changed the dynamic of the hospital or the farm was that there was like the Social Security Act of 1934, which meant like a lot of the elderly people could like go to like nursing homes and stuff like that instead of like, because if they didn't have money, now you have Social Security, now you have some sort of income to live off of. So they could actually go and live in like nursing homes instead of being at this like, at this hospital, at this farm. And then also the people that were a little more able-bodied. So, probably people that were like recovering alcoholics or other people that had like asthma or things like that. They got jobs working in supporting the war effort, especially like in Downey. Downey was building a lot of, it's a huge aerospace industry in Downey. So it was a lot of like building planes and that kind of stuff. So those people started gravitating towards those things. And then right after the war is when they got their first polio patients. So the hospital ended up being renamed Rancho Los Amigos Rehabilitation Center. And they started sort of focusing from the poor farm aspect to more of like the rehab aspect of it. And then in the 50s, it became like a really like huge like rehab center. And they started kind of phasing out the poor farm aspect of it. You still had people, I think I read somewhere that the last person that was part of the poor farm there lived into like the late 70s on the property. But by that time, they had already turned it into a rehab center. So it was like a polio center, but then also just general rehab, like people rehabbing from like amputations or like surgeries or that kind of stuff.
I seen that video, dude, and those like machines that those people were laying in, that was just, I was like, what am I looking at? And I was like, oh, there's a person's head. Like they were like in some like weird robotic type of like instrument, and those people had polio.
Yeah, that's an iron lung.
So that's what it is.
Yeah. You ever seen The Big Lebowski?
Yes, but on a very high amount of marijuana. So I can't remember. I can't recall.
Yeah, no. There's a scene where they go and they meet the guy that wrote the TV show that they're obsessed about. And that guy's in an iron lung because he was like one of one of the last people that. And there's still, I think there was still.
Can we Google this, because this thing's wild. Have you seen one of these, Francis? These things are crazy looking. What would polio? Iron lung or just iron lung?
Just iron lung. It'll come up.
Iron lung?
Yeah, these things are wild. There's a game. Look at that.
Yep.
Select one of those, because go to the black and white thing, because that's what I've seen on like that. That's what you showed on one of those pictures on your videos. And by the way, I'm going to post the link to all your stuff down the show description, so that way we can take a look at all your stuff. You see that? You see how psycho that thing is? I want one.
And they couldn't live outside of that. They had like, that was literally like,
they had to stay there.
That was it. I mean, you see that picture of that guy that says survived polio, lives in iron lung. Like that guy, his entire life has been spent inside of that iron lung.
So what does it do essentially?
It's basically like a, if I remember correctly, there's some it's basically helping them to breathe by like, there's like, it's pressurized. It's like changing the pressure so that your lungs expand and contract, like to be able to breathe. Because like, polio caused a lot of people to have like paralysis. So a lot of these people are like paralyzed from the neck down. And so they can't breathe on their own. So that iron lung is basically helping them to breathe.
So basically, this was like the first like a CPAP machine, kind of.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah,
right.
Because it's helping. Because like like a CPAP kind of like helps you like force air in.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, this thing is not in your face. No. Like it's not in your mouth.
Yeah, it's helping to expand like it's helping your lungs to be able to expand and constrict. Yeah. But yeah, that was their whole thing. And that's what they became famous for, was for the iron lungs, the polio ward. And then after, as polio stopped becoming such a big thing, as the decades went on, they focused more on the rehab, it's a world class rehab center for people with amputations and stuff like that. Like my dad actually had his leg amputated below the knee because of diabetes, and he was there at Rio Hondo, at Rancho Los Amigos.
Okay.
But that's the thing that was weird for me was that sometime in the 80s, they abandoned the South Campus because they were developing the campus, and they have two sides there. There's like a North Campus and a South Campus. And all the like development happened on the north side across the street from Imperial Highway. And the South Campus, they just, in the 80s, they just left it alone. They just abandoned it, and all the buildings were just left to like rot and decay. And like the North Campus is like a state-of-the-art facility, rehab center, like state-of-the-art hospital. And like I said, I spent a lot of years there in the early 2000s because my dad was there. And yeah, it's a world-class facility, but for whatever reason, that South Campus, they just left it abandoned. And then, as, buildings deteriorate, stories have to start to get, developed. And I mean, I remember driving through, cause like, it was like a whole neighborhood. Like there's like houses where like the staff lived in, and then they had like the dormitories where the patients lived in, and then all the other facilities. And you could actually drive through these little like streets where all these like abandoned houses were. But then at some point they fenced it off. So now if you go there, you can drive around the perimeter of it.
Oh, okay.
But there's like
you can't go inside.
I mean,
right?
you can,
if
you want to risk it, but
right.
They have like 24-hour security inside the campus, and then there's like the sheriffs that patrol. There's one building that they still use for some reason. I think it's like an admin building, the old admin building. They still use it for like administration there. But they voted to tear it down like in 2020, and some people told me that they had already started. I haven't driven by lately, but yeah, supposedly they already started tearing it down to like they're going to replace it with another LA County facility. It's either going to be like a like buildings for like records or for the probation offices or something else. The county's going to use it for something else. They're going to build some other buildings there. They're
probably building like a Raising Cane's, because I see those things popping up everywhere, or like that other chicken place that Fire Dave's. What is it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Famous Dave's?
No, not Famous Dave's. It's like a chicken place. Those things are popping up everywhere too. I'm just kidding, everybody. But
well, maybe they'll finally figure out the drive-through problem with the Raising Cane's. Man, I don't get those drive-throughs why they're so long. Like it's insane. Like every single Raising Cane's that I've passed by, that line is insane.
It's crazy. They just opened one across from the In-N-Out over here in Chino Hills, and that thing gets wild. But I mean, they get through those lines. Now it's cool because usually that line, like those people were in the In-N-Out line, and that In-N-Out line was like wrapped around the whole like shopping center. Now it's like I can get through In-N-Out drive-through pretty good, but that Raising Cane's, it's crazy. But how did you even get like into like the history of California? Like, is obviously you've lived here. Have you lived anywhere else besides SoCal?
I lived in Merced in the Central Valley for 2 years when I went to college. That's actually where I met Sergio. Like we both went to UC Merced. Yeah, but no, I mean the biggest influence for me was I had some really awesome like history teachers in like junior high and like high school. And it was just U.S. history in general. But Hugh Hauser on PBS. I don't know if you know who Hugh Hauser is. Hugh Hauser had this show on PBS.
Hugh Hauser.
Huell, Huell. Yeah, Huell. It's like a combination of his mom and dad's name. I think his mom was like Jewel, and I think his dad was like Howard or something. So he just combined it and named them Huell. He was actually from Tennessee. He came out to California and started the show called California's Gold. And he would just go around California and just, meet interesting people, find interesting places, historical places, that kind of stuff. I used to watch that with my dad all the time.
Nice.
It was like Hugh Hauser, California's Gold, and Yang Can Cook was like the two big ones that I used to watch with my dad. So that's where sort of like that seed was planted, was with Hugh Hauser. And then when I went,
dude, that's where your is it not your handle, but Foo Hauser? Yep. That's where that comes from. Exactly. Okay, all right, yeah, because I seen that, I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. I don't necessarily get it, but now I get it, and now everybody else does, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no, somebody on Fool's Gone Wild called me Foo Hauser, so I was like, I got to go with that.
Oh, really? So, that's
Foo
cool.
Hauser,
yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's where that started. And then when I went to college, I majored in history. And it's funny because my emphasis was world history, but I did my like thesis on California history because technically my essay was when California was still part of Mexico. So I did actually, well, in the fourth grade, they in California they make you do those like mission projects, and it was like California.
Yeah, I
history
remember
kind of
those.
thing. Yeah, so that's actually one of the first times where I got really interested in California history. Not so much because of the mission project, but because we learned about the Chumash Indians, and so I was fascinated with like how they used to grind up acorns and make like their like flour and like mush, like sort of a porridge kind of stuff out of it. So that kind of started, so the interest at Hugh Hauser, and then like I said, when I went to college. My essay was on a rebellion at Mission San Jose with this leader, and his name was Stanislaw. Because in the Central Valley, there's a county called Stanislaus County, and I was always like, what does Stanislaus mean? That's the kind of person I am. I'm like, well, why? Sort of like Chino. Why do they call it Chino? Like here, like it's like why? So like I always end up like researching why they call it that. So like here in Chino, they call it Chino because. It was a land grant to somebody. It was called Rancho Santana del Chino, and actually means Rancho Santana of the fair haired or like curly haired. So that's where Chino comes from. It's somebody that had like fine hair or like curly hair.
Okay.
Yeah. But that Stanislaus was named after this guy that led this rebellion against the Mission San Jose. So that's where like sort of like solidified my interest in California history. And then after that, like the pandemic, man, like just everybody else trying to find something to do. Last year, I was just watching YouTube, and Hugh Hauser came on, and I was like, oh man, they have him online, and started watching it. And then I ended up finding out that Chapman University has his entire archive online, and I watched like 400 episodes of like California's Gold, 400 episodes of like visiting. He has all these kind of sort of series that he had, but they were all like California centered, So I just binged it while I was working, and it played in the background, and that's what got the ball rolling. I'm like, you know what, I should kind of start doing some of this stuff that like I bore my wife with. You know what I mean? Like I love her, she's very supportive, but she suffers through their 20-30 minute like lectures on like, oh, why this, whatever. So she was like, yeah, you should do something with that, so yeah. I started recording on the iPhone, got a MacBook. The problem is I'm a procrastinator. I've been filming stuff since like January, but I didn't start putting stuff together till like the end of July, August, because I don't know anything about editing. I don't know anything about that. But once I started doing that, like now I'm pretty much once a week, I'm like, cranking them out, realizing that a lot of the footage I shot in January, I can't use because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? So
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, no, it's just basically all I'm doing is stuff that interests me that I've always kind of been fascinated with. I'm like, I'll go and see if there's something deeper, some interesting story, and usually there is something, kind of.
There has to be. There's with anything there's just, unknown. They're known, but like not, general people, on YouTube don't know unless you're a history nerd or interested in that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, is there any, like you just said that at the top of this that you had footage of In-N-Out over there in Baldwin Park. Is there any other footage that you have like in your bag that you're gonna start working on pretty soon or in the future?
I'll tell you, the next one that I'm probably gonna do is about I'm actually working on it right now, is like the Cabazon dinosaurs on the 10 freeway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, heading over to Palm Springs. Yeah, and that has a really interesting story too. It's like so this guy Claude Bell, he was a sculptor. He came out to California and he actually worked at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
So they hired him to. You've been to Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah, of course.
I
got a season pass actually.
Oh snap!
I gotta go.
Nice. They in the ghost town they have those benches where you can sit between like two cowboys, or there's like two of the.
I usually sit next to the ladies.
Okay, well,
I sit next to the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
He sculpted those.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
okay.
So the first two he did was I think his name's like Whiskey Pete, and I forget the other.
Yeah.
Those were the first two he did, and then he did the two showgirls, and then the two like flappers.
Okay.
So he sculpted those, and then there's like a Minuteman statue across the street at like the was it Liberty or Independence Hall? Like he sculpted that. He actually used to work there. He worked there sculpting the statues, and then also painting portraits of people. He actually painted the portraits of was it Cordelia and Walter Knott that are in the restaurant? He painted those. So he worked at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh wow, okay.
Running like they used to paint portraits for people and sculpting. He worked there for a bit, and like in the 50s he he bought this land out there in Cabazon, and he opened up a restaurant called the Wheel Inn. And then he was like, man, I need to draw attention for people that are, driving down the highway, because they were building the 10 freeway, the Interstate 10. And so he's, when he was a kid, he went to Atlantic City, and there's a elephant building called Lucy. There's like a shaped like an elephant. And so that inspired him to like build this brontosaurus that he named Denny. And that was the big brontosaurus that was there. It took him 11 years to build it. It cost like $300,000. He was grabbing stuff from the leftover material from the freeway. So like rebar and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it took him 11 years, but he opened up that brontosaurus or apatosaurus, depending on who you talk to, Denny. And then a few years later, he built the T-Rex. And it's actually kind of cool. There used to be a slide in the tail of the T-Rex.
Oh,
you could slide down there, but then they were like, yeah, it's dangerous. So they put cement and they covered it up. And then he was supposed to do one more statue. It was going to be a mammoth, but he died before he could build it. So that's why there's only the two dinosaurs.
Can you pull that up? I have to refresh my memory on what that looks like. Is it Cabazon?
Yeah, Cabazon dinosaurs.
Cabazon. That and that's considering if we think that dinosaurs are real or not.
Exactly.
Cabazon dinosaurs. There we are. It wasn't originally pink, was it?
No. So what happened was he had them just, it was just the brontosaurus and the T-Rex in front of his Wheel Inn. And then when he passed away, they actually ended up selling the dinosaurs.
They sold them?
Yeah,
you can sell somebody's art like that after they die? That's terrible.
Yeah, like they like split somebody owned the restaurant and then some other people owned the dinosaurs. And actually for a while they had the people that owned the dinosaurs had like a creationist kind of like museum in there. So they were kind of basically saying like, they believe in that,
what?
Yeah, they had like a creationist.
When was this?
This was like I think it was like from the mid '90s to like the mid 2000s. I think
that's crazy.
Yeah, but eventually they got rid of that, and so now it's the Denny has the gift shop inside of it. They built a little dinosaur park next to it, so it's free to go to the dinosaurs. To take a picture with the brontosaurus and the T-Rex, but if you want to go climb inside of the T-Rex, you have to pay money to get inside the little park they have.
Scroll down, there's a Santa Claus, T-Rex. There's a
So the owners that what they do now is that for the holidays they paint them. So right now like Denny's painted like a pumpkin, and I think the T-Rex is painted like Superman. And then for Christmas they'll paint them like that, like Santa Claus. I've seen them dressed up like for Valentine's Day. The T-Rex had a tuxedo on. He was holding like a little box of chocolates and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Whenever gives you an excuse to go out there and see what paint job they gave them. But yeah, they'll do that every like 3 months or so. They'll paint them in a different color.
So Denny is the
Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus.
Yeah, and then the T-Rex is called Mr. Rex.
Mr. Rex.
And you can actually climb into the T-Rex's mouth and look out of his.
Can you really?
Yeah. It's a pretty cool view in there.
Have you been in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This last time was the first time I ever paid to, because I was like, I'm going to film. I have to go in there. So we paid.
Do you have footage of
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait till that comes out. Cabazon dinosaurs. Have you been there, Francis? No? Did you know this existed before listening to this podcast?
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Well, it's famous because it's been on if you ever watched like Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
That's what I remember it for.
Yeah. Or and actually the restaurant that was there, the Wheel Inn, that came out in there too. Like when Large Marge drops them off at the diner.
She's scary. That's her name, Large Marge. I'm trying to dig deep into my childhood to what kept me up at night. That's why I have insomnia, ladies and gentlemen, because of Large Marge trying to get me.
They also filmed like Tears for Fears, their music video. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. They filmed it there too. Yeah, there's like a part of it where he pulls into the diner and uses the payphone, and then
look at that,
he's driving off. Yeah, so that's the thing is like it's like a steel. It was like a steel structure, and then it was like a wire or like steel mesh around it.
That's insane, man.
And then they used spray concrete on it. That's him right there. That's Claude Bell.
Damn. Did he have any other artwork? after this?
No, well, in front of the restaurant, he had a couple statues that he had sculpted, but nothing at like this size. Like these were like the two biggest of his works. Like I think Denny is
huge.
It's 150 tons for Denny. It's like 25 feet high, 150 feet long, I think. And then it's like the T-Rex is 100 tons, and it's like a 3 stories tall. It's huge. Yeah, he's like, it's the, as far as he knows, it's the biggest dinosaur that's used as a building. And he actually wanted he wanted it to have red eyes that glowed in the dark, and then spit fire. But he never put it in there. Yeah. Yeah, he said he's like, I want to have them with glowing eyes and spitting fire because I want to scare the Dickens out of people as they're driving over the path.
The Dickens.
That's what he said. Yeah, he was a very proper old gentleman. He didn't swear.
I'm gonna start using that. The Dickens.
The Dickens.
Claude Bell. And he was a native to SoCal, right? Because he worked at Knott's.
No, he grew up in New Jersey, I think. Yeah, like as a kid, like he was like working at the like he used to sculpt. He used to draw in the sand and like do like sand sculptures on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. So yeah, he was out from the East Coast, and he came over here because he got hired on by Knott's Berry Farm to do all those statues in the ghost town.
There's so many things in California, just in general, to do like history videos or to do what you do. Like that's there's Knott's, there's Disneyland, like just those staple landmarks in Southern California. Yeah,
I actually want to get out to Knott's specifically because of that. I mean, I've been to Disneyland. I love Disneyland. I haven't been to Knott's, other than the Boysenberry Festival I went a couple years ago. But yeah, I definitely want to go back and kind of do something specific about the history of Knott's because it's one of the first theme parks, in not only California but like in the world, and it's crazy that it just started as some like, way of entertaining people waiting in line for their chicken. Maybe that's what they should do at the Raising Cane's. They should build a theme park to entertain people while they wait for their chicken.
That'll be funny. That'll be actually pretty. So wait, hold on. So that's why they built that. That's where it started. For just entertainment for people waiting for their chicken?
Yeah, so the whole thing was, and I haven't done the in-depth research, so my details might be a little whatever, but so they started the farm. They had a little, I think her name Cordelia, not like she was really famous for her like fried chicken, so she would like make these fried chicken dinners.
Really?
And people would come just for her fried chicken, and it was like really good, but the thing is that, it would take very long to make, so that, would have people that were waiting, in line, waiting to get a table, waiting to sit down and eat. So Walter Knott was like, well, I got to do something to entertain these people because if not, they're going to leave and go somewhere else. So he started kind of like slowly adding little things here and there to kind of, entertain these people that came to it. Because it's literally like, I know we just say Knott's Berry Farm, but if you got to stop and slow down and say it slow, it's like Knott's Berry Farm. It was literally a berry farm. Like that's what it was. It's owned by this guy, Knott's Berry Farm. Started as a berry farm. They started serving these chicken dinners, and then as it became more popular, he started building more and more onto the farm. Well, eventually, like the farm wasn't the farm anymore; it was this theme park. But that started with the little ghost town, having people dressed up like cowboys, entertaining people, and that's how it took off. It was slowly just and he actually ended up when you go out to Vegas, the Calico Ghost Town. It's out there. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Going to Vegas, you'll see signs that say like Calico Ghost Town. He actually owned that too. So
really,
yeah. So Walter Knott's Berry Farm and then the Calico Ghost Town. He was like big into like westerns and stuff like that.
Can you look up like early pictures of Knott's Berry Farm? That is insane, dude. I thought it was just a berry farm. I've always been interested on why they came up with the concept of a theme park, but waiting in line for chicken.
Yep.
As an entertainment for people waiting in line for chicken. That is awesome. There we go. Awesome place. Look at that.
Yeah, so you see like that second picture right there, that's them standing in front of their, I think that's them standing in front of their like stand or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They slowly started building like...
So that's why they have the chicken place.
Yeah. That's what started it all, man. It's a fried chicken place. Yep.
I did not know that. I thought that was just like, oh, we're the first amusement park. Let's just add a chicken place on the outside of our theme park. Look at them. Look at that. Is that a Model T?
It might be. I'm not too up to date on my cars, but it looks like it.
No, it's Berry Farm. Damn. Chicken. So they had this chicken place, right? They had people waiting in line, and they just started adding, entertainment for the people waiting. That's wild.
Yep.
And then it blows up to what it is now.
To what it is now. Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Like how one like little subtle, solution to one problem, and that one solution like blows up to changing pop culture. Just like with the McDonald's brothers and the Speedy system. So they were like the first like pioneers of like what fast food is today. So were they like one of the first ones to come up with that type of like speedy service?
Yeah. Well, so when I think in one of the interviews I saw Richard talking, he was like, yeah, he's like, we were fast food before we even knew what fast food was, kind of thing. Like they were just basically trying to crank out a quality product as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So that's why they pared down their menu, because they were like, like if we only, because that was the whole thing. You were talking about people like ordering weird stuff at the thing. He said, allowing people to make changes is like the worst thing possible. It's like you get what you get. Like, that's it. So I don't know.
Pick the pickles out. Exactly. If you don't like pickles, pick the pickles out. If you don't like onions, take out the onions. Don't harass my cashier.
Well, I was gonna say, is like they put like 4 onions on it. You're gonna complain that they put onions on it? Just pick them off the patty, man. Come on. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, what you're like, what, 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 38, so we're probably
31
or 31. I'm 38, so you might still remember going to McDonald's and seeing the stuff under the heat lamps when they would prepare like the burgers, and they would put them under a heat lamp, because now they sort of make stuff to order, but before they used to just make stuff, wrap it up, and it would be under a heat lamp. So when you order your stuff, they could grab it really quick. So that was sort of the concept that they came up with, is like you had stuff that dispensed stuff evenly. So, it was like the same amount of ketchup, the same amount of mustard, 2 pickles for every burger. So they had a system down of how things were made. And it was for efficiency. But it was also like to maintain quality, because you knew that, if you train this guy to make burgers and that guy to train burgers the same way, they were both going to make the same thing. Right. So yeah, they're definitely like one of the first pioneers of like fast food.
I miss the bucket of fries.
Oh, dude, talking about bucket of fries, man.
That's what I miss.
I like me and my friends back in high school, man. I don't know if you remember, they used to do that thing where it was like Wednesday was like 29-cent hamburgers, and like I think Saturdays, we used to go and each of us would order 20, because that was like the limit, and then get like 2 or 3 bucket of fries, and we were set.
It was done. That was it, dude.
It. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, bucket of fries, man.
Bucket of fries. That's if there's one thing that I remember about old school McDonald's, it's the bucket of fries.
Yeah.
And the 59-cent hamburgers. I remember when they were 59 cents.
Yeah.
In the grain, was it the gray packaging, like the blue type of wrapper? I remember that.
Yeah, it was like a cheeseburger was yellow, and then like the hamburger was gray or whatever.
It was weird. It was like a weird color for a wrapper for an item that you're about to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, bucket of fries. Have you had a chance to pick up an adult Happy Meal yet?
I did.
Did you? What'd you think? If there's any difference in whatever you order.
It was the same thing. It was cool just because I was like, oh, I like the homie Grimace. I want to try to get Grimace, because I love that dude when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I looked out, man. I got Grimace.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
Nice. You should have brought him. I want to see that. Francis went to McDonald's before she came to the studio. Did you end up picking up a toy?
No, I didn't.
Why?
I wanted to buy it separate, but they wouldn't let me.
Oh my God! Of course not. You had to get it.
I didn't want what the options they had.
You don't have the options of what?
Of what you can get. It was
With the adult one, you can only get a Big Mac or a 10-piece nugget.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that we're gonna have like a Capri Sun style margarita kind of thing in the adult.
Have you seen all the memes? Can we pull the memes of the adult Happy Meals? These things are hilarious. They have like the Modelo Capri Sun thing. They have like a dime bag of weed. I have to make one. I think that's my next thing. After I post this, watch out for it on my Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna post a Gillbilly-delic Mind Buzz adult Happy Meal.
What's the toy in your Happy Meal?
It's gonna be a toy. It's gonna be an adult toy, just like that one. Just like that one. Look at that one. Comes with a weird
Marlboro Reds.
Oh yeah, and then a huge soda. Look at Grimace. Grimace he's gonna go somewhere where a toy shouldn't go.
I like the one that they blurred out right there on that.
Can you go to that one? Oh yeah, that one is awesome. There's one with a bag of weed. We got to check out the one with the bag of weed. Oh my god, that is awesome. What other ones are there? Oh my god. Okay, really? People are insane. People are insane. What does it say? I think this is the adult Happy Meal with a toy for mom. With the toy with mom for moms.
That's a really Big Mac.
It's the Big Mac.
Although, the McDonald's brothers, right? It was Richard, Dick, and Mac Maurice. So
yeah, right.
That's the Big Dick.
There we go. That's it. We have come full circle. This is not with what Ray Kroc had in mind. So they have those toys like that. Is that the thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I learned most of my stuff from Instagram, so that's why I have people on like you to ask questions.
Yeah, I don't know what the design decisions were there, why they have like those weird eyes or whatever. But I was like, yeah, I want to get Grimace, and got him. Now I kind of want the Hamburglar too. But
yeah, look at that. That actually looks pretty cool. And it came in a box like that.
Yeah, it was a big. It has to be big enough to hold the Big Mac and the adult fries and stuff. Yeah.
So that's what it's called, the Cactus Plant Flea Market.
Yeah,
right?
Cactus Plant Flea Market adult Happy Meal.
That's why I seen that. Okay, so I seen that sign on the on one of the. Oh yeah, me and my son just went to McDonald's the other day, and I seen a sign that said that they're all out. Of course. That's funny.
Yeah, the McDonald's right by my house was out for like 3 days, and I was driving by and like I checked the app, and it was like 10:30 in the morning, and it was like available. I was like, they serve Big Macs at 10:30 in the morning. I was like, I drove in, and they were like, oh yeah, they're available. I'm like, all right, cool. Give me a Big Mac and a 10-piece chicken nugget at 10:30 in the morning with my coffee.
That is awesome. Yeah. So I would put something that it would be my toy version would be something similar to that, or like a small like little pipe or bong or something, like a little razor to separate your to chop up your cocaine or something, a syringe, and a spoon with a lighter. That's terrible. Oh, look at that one. Exactly that. Basically, that's what mine would look like right there. The one that says 2 days ago, and you can see the yayo right there. Yeah, there we go. That would be mine. That'd be terrible. I'd be trying to order adult Happy Meals in prison if that was mine. Yeah, I didn't. That Grimace is pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's like hollow plastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that would look pretty cool in the studio. I gotta try to collect them all. How many do they have?
I think there's 4. I think it's like the Grimace, the Hamburglar. I forget the one that looks like a duck. I don't know what her name is. And then the little cactus, whatever, happy face dude. I think those are the 4.
That is. You gonna try to collect them all?
Probably not. It's just because it's one of those things where it's like if I go and I order it and I get the same thing, I'm like, I'm just gonna give up because, as a kid I could never collect all the toys. And it was like that frustration, being like buying like 4 Happy Meals and getting the same thing. So I'm like, if I go again and get it and I get the same thing, I'll probably stop. Yeah,
my son's like that. He likes collecting stuff. I think right now they're for the kids Happy Meal. It's the Cars toys again. I don't know. Is there another Cars movie coming out? Because that's what the other day we got. He got fuck that. What's that red? The red car.
Lightning McQueen.
He got Lightning McQueen, and then today he got fuck. Why is it? I'm drawing a blank on Tow Mater.
Oh, Tomater. Yeah.
Yeah, Tow Mater. He got Tow Mater. But those are the two that he got.
It's funny you said that because I noticed that the other day because sometimes I'll get the regular Happy Meal just because I'm like, I'm like nostalgic sometimes. Like, let's just get a cheeseburger Happy Meal with like chocolate milk or whatever. And I went there and I had the Cars toys and I was like, that's weird. I had the same thought. I'm like, is there a movie coming out or
right.
No idea? Because I think before that I got like Pokemon cards in it. So I have no idea I don't have kids, so I don't know what the tie-in is with the whatever. I'm like just picking up Happy Meals for myself.
Yeah.
Because now I can, right? When I was a kid, I couldn't get them whenever I wanted to. And it's like, now I was like, no, man, I'm an adult. Let me go get a Happy Meal.
Yeah, I get a milkshake with every meal throughout the day. With breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for midnight snack, I have milkshakes. Especially the ones from Norm's. You should do one on Norm's. Is Norm's a Southern California company?
Yep. And Norm's is one of my favorite places to eat.
Right.
Love Norm's. Yeah, they can't remember exactly where they started from, but the headquarters is down in Bellflower because I used to live in Paramount.
Oh,
so
dude, like Downey, Bellflower, that area, they have I was driving by Downey, I think on Lakewood. Don't they have like a Coca-Cola big factory there too?
Yeah. Yep.
There's something about Taco Bell that has something to do with Downey as well.
The first Taco Bell was in Downey. Yeah.
Can we pull that up too? I seen the actual location where it was. There's no Taco Bell now.
It's an Amazon like parking lot for like the Amazon like delivery trucks. But yeah, it was. There's a Taco Bell like across the street where the original location was. But yeah, the original one was in Downey on Firestone, and then it got turned into like a Raul's Tacos or something, and then they were going to tear the building down, and they actually picked it up and moved it to Irvine, so it's in the parking lot now. Yep, that's it right there. The one, that first one on the left. Yep.
And it's still up?
No, so they moved it. It's in the parking lot of the headquarters of Taco Bell in Irvine.
They've just moved the whole building.
The whole building, yeah. They picked it up and moved it to Irvine, and yeah, it's in their parking lot. I'm sure eventually they're gonna, probably open it up with a museum or something. But yeah, it's just sitting in the parking lot.
Look at that.
But yeah, no, yeah, you're right, dude. Yeah, there it is. They're moving.
There we go.
But yeah,
on the road again.
That whole area, man. Yeah, like the first Taco Bell. Danny's got it started in Bellflower too. It was like they started off as a donut shop called Danny's Donuts.
Did they really?
Yep. And then afterwards they had to change the name because there was another place called Danny's, so they changed it to Denny's. But yeah, that's where they got their start. It was like in Bellflower. And then here, man, in the Inland Empire, dude, like your Taco Bells, your Del Tacos, your Bakers, which a lot of people don't know. If they're not in the Inland Empire, they don't know about Bakers. You been to Bakers?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'd never been to a Bakers until like 2 or 3 months ago. I fucking love it.
They're good.
They're good.
They're good burgers.
And they're actually, so their whole thing is they're the first ones to have that double kitchen. So you know how you can get like Mexican food and like burgers? They were the first restaurant in the U.S. that had a double kitchen.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was a lot of those dudes that they were contemporaries and they were friends. So so from those people you got your Wiener Schnitzels, your Taco Bell, your McDonald's, Bakers, like all those guys knew each other and they were in competition. It was like a friendly competition, but yeah, all those guys that founded all those restaurants were, had some, either they started here or they started their restaurants here or they started their careers here in like the Inland Empire, and then they went, wherever they opened their places up.
That's wild. That's and just like I was saying before, like just like small little subtle changes in history, like changes like the way we look at food and the way we look at pop culture, the way we look at just fast food in general in Southern California. Yeah, people of the world, you thank California for that, for Southern California for that.
100%.
Right. That Baker's burger is really good.
Yeah, no, if anybody's listening or watching, you've never been to Baker's, man, do yourself a favor, make the drive out to, San Bernardino, Riverside. and go there and order from both sides of the menu. I think they have a combo where you can get like a taco and a burger,
something
and
like
fries
that.
like that. Yeah.
Who has that? Nobody has that.
No, yeah, that's the thing is, I mean, if you go to like a place that has like a was it green burrito and Carl's Jr., you might be, but Baker's was the ones that started it. So, you got to respect the OGs, and go to Baker's.
You don't see a lot of those dual type of kitchens like right now. Remember they used to like in the 90s. I remember Taco Bell and Pizza Hut. They had like an A&W and something else. It was like an A&W and some other type of restaurant. There was like a KFC and something else too. Yeah, those are weird. Do you like going to those places?
I mean, I other than Baker's, I haven't seen, like you said. Yeah, it was one. It felt like it was one of those things that popped up and it was like really popular. Like like you said, the Taco Bell, Pizza Hut.
I remember that one.
The green burrito, Carl's Jr. combo,
That's
kind of thing. But I haven't seen one lately. I kind of feel like that was like sort of like a fad. They came, especially when these companies start owning all these restaurants and they're, just throw them together. I mean, I imagine it's a headache to work there because you got to like learn how to make, two different things. But I haven't been to one other than Baker's. I haven't been to any place that has like a dual kitchen like that.
Yeah, I can see the frustration working at a place like that. You're like the store manager of like the Taco Bell and the Pizza Hut, but you get one paycheck.
Exactly.
Right. That'd be terrible.
Yep. You got somebody trying to special order something. Can you put a burger? Can you put the taco in the burger? Kind of thing. Like it's like just do it yourself in the parking lot, man. Come on.
You're brother. You're high already, so you just take your creativeness and go to the parking lot and fix that. By the way, do you know any like cannabis history in Inland Empire or?
What's funny, man, talking about that, because I've been listening to your show and stuff. I'm telling you, man, the say no to drugs worked on me as a kid, man. I never like, and I don't know what it was. It just I've never smoked weed. I've never gotten high. I was around it. I was a skateboarder. I was in a punk band. I was around it all the time. But for whatever reason, man,
really,
I just never did it. And I mean, and I don't judge people that do it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Dude. It just never called to me for whatever reason. But yeah, man, like cannabis history in the Inland Empire, no, but I've read a lot of stuff about like, there was a really interesting, I think it was a documentary about Bigfoot in like Northern California, but it ended up becoming like a thing about cannabis. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like basically some dudes that got murdered in like this like weed farm in Northern California, and somebody tried to blame it on Bigfoot.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like, I thought I was going to watch a pretty cool documentary on Bigfoot, but it ended up being about cannabis.
Yeah.
And while on cannabis, I was just like, wait, hold on. I thought I was going to watch something on Bigfoot. What?
Yeah. But I don't know that much about it. But I mean, I do know that, I mean, I'm glad that it's been decriminalized, and people are, because I think it's dumb for people to be in jail for weed, because I mean, I drink alcohol, and I mean, I don't drink that often, but I drink it, and I feel like, dude, it's sort of like the same, like why is one treated more, harshly than the other one when, like how many people die in car accidents from people that are drinking and driving or that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, man, if that floats your boat, cool. Like I don't, I'm glad that it went beyond just medicinal purposes, It's like recreational now, and that's cool. Cause it's good for the cities that it's in, it generates tax revenue. People are able to make a living out of it legally, that kind of thing. I know there's still a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of, kind of stuff like that, but it's sort of like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, well, definitely Biden, he put a part in for prisoners that had, we have to look this up because I barely briefly read that his pardon on prisoners with crazy amount of years that they were serving just for possession of marijuana. We can put Biden's decriminalization of marijuana. Decriminalization. I was gonna show you. I was gonna share it. Well, we can when she pulls it. I was gonna show you my. I got a joint for you right here. I've been dying to show this on camera, and marijuana. There's also, marijuana. There we go. Or you could just put weed. Cannabis policy of Joe Biden's administration. As of October 2022, Biden pardoned thousands of people convicted of marijuana possession under federal law.
So I think I heard a little bit about this. So basically, like the people that were convicted under federal law are pardoned, but now he's like encouraging governors to also pardon people because it's like you got a federal charge, but you might have a state charge,
right?
That kind of thing. So like I said, most of those people, you get charged for having a small amount of
right,
marijuana, and it's kind of like you should there's a lot. It becomes like a roadblock for people to like
absolutely
get jobs and stuff like that. And I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, having like a little small joint on you back in like 1975, and that has followed you for decades.
And that's the thing is like at what point have you repaid your like what I mean, like is you're still being punished, and it's like, oh, you spent whatever 2 years in jail, 3 years in jail, and then it's like, okay, cool, but then it's been 20 years and you've been cool, but that one thing still comes back to like prevent you from whatever. That's never made any sense to me.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's a really cool book. I don't know if there's a documentary, but it's okay. Look up The Emperor Wears New Clothes. Oh, Wears No Clothes, I think. The Emperor Wears No Clothes by Jack Herr. There we go. The Emperor Wears No Clothes is a nonfiction book written by Jack Herr starting in 1973. The story begins where Herr takes the advice of his friends. Just click on the Wikipedia. It's really cool. It takes you from the very beginnings of cannabis history and just takes you all the way through. It's really cool. I haven't finished the book. I kind of just went like chapter by chapter on it. But the story begins when Herr takes the advice of his friend Captain Ed Adair and begins compiling tidbits of information about the cannabis plant and its numerous uses, including as hemp as a drug. After dozens of years of collecting and compiling historical data, Herr first published his work as The Emperor Wears No Clothes in 1985. The 12th edition was published in November 2010, and the book continues to be cited in cannabis rescheduling and re-legalization efforts. Yeah, it's a really cool book. It talks about how like George Washington and I think who else? Andrew.
Well, yeah, I know all those dudes like
Andrew Johnson. Jackson. No, Johnson.
I mean, yeah, all those dudes had
they grew it.
Yeah, he grew it. Yeah.
They grew it. They wore it. I think it was back in World War II. They used to use hemp for clothing, for uniforms. They use it of course, textile, rope, everything.
Yeah, and that was one of those things that I didn't learn until much later. Because you would read history stuff and you're like, oh, hemp, and never put two and two together. Oh, hemp, that's like, it's like used for other uses that they were using it for, and they were growing it, and it wasn't illegal,
Yeah, paper, look at meet all of the world's transportation, industrial, and home energy needs while simultaneously reducing pollution, rebuilding the soil, and cleaning the atmosphere all at the same time. And that substance is and the same one that did all before cannabis hemp. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pull the camera because I've been wanting to share this, my new studio prop, and I think this is the first cool prop. Isn't that fucking cool, dude?
That's pretty cool, and it lights up.
It lights up too. You want to touch it? You hold it.
It'd be cool if there's a little smoke coming out of it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Did you make this?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I seen it. Never let me, like in October, dude, I am just, never let me in a Halloween store because I just go crazy. I was going to get, I got some glasses. I was going to get some hemp, like flower stuff and just put it around put it around the studio and everything. But I seen this, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I've been Cheech Marine from
Nice.
from Cheech and Chong one year, and I think my girlfriend at the time, she was Chong. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Talking about Cheech, you heard about the museum he opened here?
It's beautiful. Have you been?
Not yet.
Check it
Still
out,
gotta
bro.
Make out, yeah.
It's really cool. We have to look up pictures of all that art. So, Cheech Marine, it's his own collection.
Yep.
Over what, 20 years, maybe even 30 years of just collecting art, and that's all his stuff. And opening up like a huge spot just to showcase all that Chicano art that he has, fucking amazing. The drive is I mean, it's okay to get out there, but it's really cool.
Well, that's my thing, man. Is that like a lot of people like to shit on like Riverside and San Bernardino and all that kind of stuff, and doing this history stuff. It's like you realize like how much cool stuff is out here, and I'm glad he did that he put it out in Riverside.
So did I.
Because he could have done it and found some like Cal State LA or
right.
Whatever. And the fact that he put it out in Riverside is more power to him, because that's awesome. It gets more people out to Riverside. It brings money to the city, and like I said, like I hate people that like to shit on people. Oh, San Bernardino this or Riverside this or whatever. And it's like, dude, like people live where they live. There's people that are proud of where they live. There's people that are boosters for where they live. There are people that are like, especially like the little museums. I always like to go to like little city museums, because you go there and the people that work there are like volunteers, and they're really proud of like where they live, and they're happy that you want to like learn about their city. So I'm glad he did that, because that brings positive publicity to Riverside and the Inland Empire.
Can we pull that up? The Cheech, what is it called? The Cheech.
I think this is called the Cheech and
the Cheech, right?
Yeah, how the Cheesecake Factory popped up.
Oh, you could tell what I look up on this computer. Food near me, images. It's really beautiful. Let's just go to the It's really the cool sign outside. I should have took a picture outside, dude. The blue mural that's right there. It's freaking amazing. They have this Olmec, huge. And it was funny because I wore my NASA t-shirt that day. So when I was checking it out, they have like this huge spot where there's like this like spaceship, like old school 1960s like spaceship, like Apollo type of spaceship, and like a huge Olmec, face next to it. It's really cool. We have to look up my Instagram so we can look at it. But that, you see that blue one right there? Oh my god, that thing is awesome. Wow. So it's like a holographic type of picture. So if you're like walking around it, like it moves. Like there's a lot of art that is it pops right out of you. That's cool. And you can see it. Go to my Instagram. Go to the Instagram and look me up. I have I believe I put the picture up there. There's a tab right there that you can go to and search for me. There we go. Where it says followed Gil Billy Dalek right there. Scroll up. There we go. There he is. I'm still black, ladies and gentlemen. I won't be back until the 13th.
You got blocked?
Yeah.
I got banned from Twitter.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Why?
I was telling Sergio, man, I don't know. Like I must have. I tried to narrow it down. I think I might have been responding to like a Ted Cruz tweet or something, and I'd like share like a meme. Like I'm like, when I'm on Twitter, I'm not like one of those trolls or whatever. You know? And I'm almost 100% sure that it was that one. And I responded with like a SpongeBob meme or something. Mm-hmm. And I woke up the next day and I was like banned from Twitter. And I think what happened was I got mass reported for it or whatever, and they banned me, and I haven't been able to get it back. So I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, it's weird how like one day I was out in San Diego. I wanted to do a live because I actually was gonna do Skills Pay Bills, that podcast out in Barrio Logan with Sue Loca. And I was doing the lives and everything, and I it said like you're unable to post lives, and I was like, what?
Do you have any idea why?
I don't know. I think just there's somebody probably just reporting my account.
Yeah.
And like from there, scroll down to my pictures.
And Barrio Logan too. Is that if people haven't been out there, you gotta.
It's fucking awesome. It's fucking badass, dude.
It's one of my favorite coffee shops is out there. Por Vida.
Oh yeah, right there. I was hanging out in that section right there. Actually, So Loca is like pretty much right across from that coffee place.
Okay.
Keep scrolling down. There's my Danny DeVito. Keep going down. I have it somewhere. I think I do. Keep going down. You'll see it. You'll see it in there. Oh, Mac. There we go.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's it right there. Where I'm standing and looking at it. Click on the picture. There we go. Yeah, Cheech Marine Center for Chicano Art. UFO sighting. I love that. That like drop was freaking amazing. I love that picture. Yeah, so I was wearing my NASA shirt that day. I seen that art piece, and it was just a really good time.
And you lucked out. You chose that NASA shirt. You didn't even know that was going to be there.
I didn't.
So
no.
great. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I ended up picking because I pick up T-shirts from everywhere I go. That's just like my thing, and I wear them on the podcast. And I do have a Cheech. Branded.
Nice.
Shirt for that.
Yeah, I started doing that too, man, because I was picking up like coffee mugs, and I'm like, that takes up way too much room.
Right.
So yeah, this one's from Hadley, which is out near the Cabazon dinosaurs. It's
okay.
Like a little shop where they used to be like this little roadside stand, and they make date shakes like out of like the fruit dates. So yeah, same thing, man. I have to pick up shirts wherever I go because I'm gonna wear them, instead of a coffee mug. I like use one mug, and I just have a cupboard full of them.
Yeah, but now I have an influx of T-shirts that she was just telling me today because I put the shirt on today and I was like, you know what? Have I worn this on the podcast already? And then she was telling me, she was like, you know what? You just need to have a pile of shirts that you've worn on the podcast and T-shirts that are you need to wear.
You know what's funny is that I noticed that like. I think 2 or 3 of the videos, because I usually don't come out in the videos I make, but like a few of them I've come out in them, and I just noticed that like I'm wearing the same shirt in like 3 of them, and then people are like and it's like on different days, but it just so happened that I wore that shirt,
right,
and it's just like I gotta now that I know that I've worn that shirt, I can't wear it anymore if I'm gonna come out because it's like it's a repeat,
right,
yeah,
that or you recorded the same content on the same day. Actually, it was funny because when I started doing like virtual podcasts, I used to do like multiple, like up to 3 podcasts in a day, and I would change like in between podcast episodes. I would change so it looks like I recorded them on separate days.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a little gem, a little jewel. But thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
Javier, for coming out.
Thank you for the hospitality, man. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, dude, and thanks to Sergio for connecting us.
Yeah, thank you, Sergio.
This is awesome. I wanna get you out here again so we can catch up on some of your work. Let's go ahead and pull up his Instagram and his. Do you have a link tree and all that stuff? Go ahead and tell us where we can find you, man.
Yeah, so on Instagram. And YouTube, Californiography, so like Californio, like CaliforNio, and then Graphy, Graphy. The link tree's right there to my YouTube, and I'm
go ahead and click that one out. There we go.
Yeah, so you got the TikTok, the YouTube, the Facebook, and the non-existent Twitter.
That's right.
And then there's a link to the podcast with Sergio, and then after get the link for this one, I'll throw the link up there for the Mind Buzz. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the invite, and
yeah, man.
Excuse to come out to Chino. I found a new coffee shop, man. I really like that coffee shop down the street.
What was it called?
I think it's called Canna Brew.
Canna Brew,
right off of Eucalyptus and Ramona.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. I have to check that out. But thanks, man, for coming out, trucking out here. So of course, all of Javier's stuff is going to be down in the show description. Everything's going to be clickable. Go check him out because he has some really cool stuff. He has some really cool videos that we all will learn something from about our little place here in California. A lot of interesting stuff. So go ahead and check him out. And that was another one.
The Mind Buzz.
Bye-bye, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Mind Buzz podcast. Subscribe to the Mind Buzz YouTube channel and watch full podcast episodes. Keep up with the hosts, guests, and upcoming events by following the Mind Buzz on Instagram @the Mind Buzz. See you on the next one.